Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. This is season 16, episode 15, chapter 3, Rebirth. I couldn't remember what chapter we are on because we've been here for at least 3 episodes. Only thing I'm disappointed about in this is that we didn't get to see more of Grenada because I feel like with them being there for so long, I would have loved to seen more of the island because based on their outfits and the things that we see them pull out, I think that they did do some shopping and things like that. And for whatever reason, we didn't get footage of it. So, anyways, we begin the episode. It's a new day. We get flashbacks of the previous night where who was it? Kelly is calling it Housewives Gone Wild. And that's what it was. Because we know that we ended the episode with Britt having them tetas on the counter. Well, Shamia at one point had her booty on the floor. Shots were flying. Twerking was happening. It was happening everywhere. It was in the pool. It was on all fours. It was with one leg in the air. The ladies partied. Faye said it got so serious in there that at one point she thought that she got Cynthia pregnant. I could see why, seeing as to how there's a lot of twerking going on, and the twerking is going on, and the face to the booty thing is like, I'm like, okay, can we back up a little bit? I'm all for cheering on my friends, but these ladies really don't have a problem with getting up close and personal. So Angela comes to Drew's room that morning, and she lets her know, Drew does, like, Angela, this is what I was waiting for. Like, last night was a good time. This is what I was looking forward to, which is me actually feeling like I'm on vacation. And Angela agrees. I think that the fact that Shamia was going through what she was going through with her daughter, I really hope that this isn't buffering because my Wi-Fi just went on showing me it's low. The fact that Shamia went through what she went through with her daughter, I feel like it helped kind of bring them together because they wanted to make sure that they supported her. And in supporting her, they allowed some of the crap to go. And it was nice to see the ladies getting along. Angela's like, one of the things that I really, really liked was the fact that when Bree started, let me pause this for a second because my signal is non existent. I really hope that you guys are getting this. I don't know, and I'm a little nervous because the bar is really, really low. Let me see if I come off, if that helps. Yeah, it did help a little bit. Okay. So Angela expresses that when Britt started talking to Shamia, in spite of their issues, she was for it. But then she looked at Drew and she kind of was like, hold up, wait a second. Even when Angela said it in that moment, Drew was making a face. Drew was looking at her like she was crazy. Drew says, like, look, they say that I'm the actress, but the way that Britt was performing last night, she might be the real actress. It was a lot. And I feel like she's right. Something about it did not give genuine to me. It did give performative. It did give a lot of me, but Shamia, even though I'm upset with you, even though we had our argument, Shamia, I'm gonna be here for you, girl, even though you, like, it just didn't come across as, you really trying to be there for her. I think that there's a way to do that without mentioning yourself, right? If she would have said it one time, I would have thought it was more genuine, but because she said it so many times, I kind of questioned it. So Angela also mentions that one thing that she noticed, though, throughout this whole thing is that Britt and Kelly don't seem to be as close as they normally are. She noticed that they aren't speaking, that Kelly isn't jumping in as much, for Britt to defend her, and Britt isn't doing the same for her. They're not talking the way that they used to. So at this point, her spidey senses are jumping and she's gonna keep an eye on them. Drew agrees something isn't right because it doesn't seem like how they would normally maneuver, but she is just happy at this point to be like the topic of discussion. So we see Shamia call her mother to get an update on what went down with her daughter Shiloh, right? Her mom tells her, like, look, I came home to pick up the girls. As I approached the hallway where Shiloh's room is, I noticed right away that the hallway is freezing. I do not understand how Gerald, Shamia's husband, who is supposed to be this person that created HVAC systems for airports, this person with all this money, this person who has all this access, does not have control of the temperature of that household. The way that things are designed now, you can literally control the temperature of your home with your phone. So, what is going on in this area of the house that you don't have this under control? Why is it freezing down the hallway? Is this something that happens all the time? Was it a hot day and we just cranked the AC up and we forgot to close off the baby's vents? Like, what happened here that this is what happened? So her mom's like, okay, it's freezing down the hallway. I go in the baby's room to check on her, and I notice right away that she's shivering because of how cold it was. I want to know, how long was Shiloh in that cold room? Because her mother's description of what happened makes me feel like if I were the grandmother and I had been in that situation, that I would have been escorting that nurse, that nanny, whatever it is that they want to call her, out of my home with the quickness. You're not going to sit there and put a baby that is already in jeopardy of having complications and things of that nature in an unsafe situation by not monitoring her correctly and making sure that she's covered. To make it worse, she sees that the baby is not covered up, that the baby did not have on a blanket, that the baby did not have on socks. She picks the baby up, puts the baby to her. I'm assuming it's kind of a skin to skin thing. And she says that it takes her almost an hour of her holding the baby to regulate her temperature back to normal, that baby did not have on proper things to keep her warm, right? So Shami is like, Mom, how is her fever? Is it down? Whatever. She's like, oh no, she's fine this morning. Her fever is down. She's looking okay. I'm monitoring her, whatever. She says, but one of the things that I noticed is while the baby is freezing, the nurse had on a heating blanket and a hat. Why is it that cold in there? Now, I know I keep my thermometer down low at nighttime when it's time to go to sleep because we like it cold up in this piece, right? We like I'd rather be cold than hot when I go to sleep. Not only that, I'm 40, and apparently at 40, you start having a little bit of perspiration from time to time if it's not cold enough when you go to sleep. So with that being said, what is that thermostat at that the lady is in there with a blanket? And what is wrong with the lady if she's in there with the heated blanket and a scully on, but the baby's not? Right? What are we being told? So Shamia's like, Mom, thanks for being there. I'm going to try to enjoy this last night. And basically, I'm going to be home tomorrow. Right? So we see the OGs meet up in Portia's room. By the OGs, I mean Portia and Cynthia and Phaedra, right? Cynthia is there first, checking out Portia's big hat that she wants to take a picture in. She wants to have like a little photo shoot for herself. I put here in my notes, why didn't they show us the ladies exploring the local market? Because I refuse to believe that Portia packed that hat. So Phaedra comes in, right? And she's talking about how she keeps fighting with the TV because she likes to watch crime shows. That's her thing. She likes to watch crime shows as she sleeps. Confession, major confession. I'm the same way. Give me Criminal Minds. Give me First 48. Give me Cold Case. Give me Killer Couples. Sign me up for anything crime related, and I get the best sleep. It seems a little strange, I know, but it's just the thing. It's because of my roommate, because I used to be one of those people who slept with it, completely quiet. But then when I went to college, my roommate liked to have the TV on. So I got used to the TV being on, and it turned into like, if you're going to have the TV on, can you put it on a show that I'm interested in, which was crime stuff? And then, I'd eventually fall asleep. So I too don't like it to be completely quiet, right? If it's not crime shows for me, it's like nature. Give me the heavy rain, the ocean, best sleep ever, right? So she goes from talking about her lack of sleep with the TV to her talking about the previous night. Faye, of course, has to shade Angela by saying that Angela gives, math teacher vibes, school teacher vibes, because she's stern when she talks. She then says, matter of fact, it's giving Barbara Walters because she's asking a lot of questions. It was just question after question. Well, Phaedra, That's because more than likely she's trying to get to know you. I know Phaedra is used to showing up and not letting the ladies learn anything about her, but Angela is trying to get to know her. Even though for whatever reason, Faye seems to be gunning for Angela and wants to divulge info because we see next episode she's going to be talking about Angela. Angela is coming into this with the open mind. So Faye wants to know what's going on with Kelly and Britt because they too have noticed that the ladies aren't really gelling. Portia said that Britt, it was like a dog wanting to know where the shade was coming from. And Portia, as you're sitting there joking about that about Britt, I want to know that you were also like a dog that had been outside for a long time and came in and you were thirsty and you needed some water because you were so thirsty when it came to Drew and Dennis. The way that you came at Drew at the beginning of the season, in Shamia's bedroom, I haven't forgotten about that. Or lounge area, I haven't forgotten about that. You did too much too. We are all of these episodes in, and here you are just now giving Drew a break, right? So Faye says, look, I got some tea. They put it on commercial break. I'm thinking she gonna come back with some juicy stuff, right? Y'all, it was so womp womp. Faye lets them know that Britt told her that Kelly doesn't want Britt to use her glam squad anymore. How is that tea? Why is this considered tea? This is the best you got. But it helps, I guess, move the storyline. So Phaedra says that they are the fake frick and frat because they're talking about how like besties would never move like this and all this other thing. So Portia says that they are a little off because usually if Britt says something, Kelly is right there to jump in. That at her party when they had their celebration in Nashville, that these two were dressing like twins and they're like Siamese cats. If Kelly is saying something, then Britt does the same. She jumps in. But instead, what she's seeing now is a bunch of facial expressions. So we get flashbacks of them doing that very thing, jumping in for one another. And I'll never forget that. What about that baby, though, from Kelly, right? Because I told y'all I ain't like that. I feel like they both can stand on your own. You're grown women. Why are you jumping in for something that doesn't involve you? So we are reminded of the other night at dinner when Shamia was coming at Britt and Kelly didn't really have her back. Kelly didn't defend her friend. Instead, she kind of sided with Shamia, in my opinion. So Portia thinks that there must be some type of jealousy between the two of them. Now, at first, when Portia said it, I was like, I don't think it's jealousy. I don't think that that's what it is. But then I thought about it a little bit, and it may be that Britt is envious of some things because Kelly does seem to be in a better position, not just financially, but when it comes to these ladies. I think that Kelly has outgrown Britt. I think that in the beginning, you all had known each other for what they said like a year. And because you were newbies, you kind of had a camaraderie. But what happened was Kelly got the ladies to like her. And because the ladies like her, she's not having to work as hard. She has established friendships and she's there to have a good time. She's not there to do what Britt has done, which is sue people. Britt is unpredictable. They don't know what version of Britt they're going to get because the moment that they say anything that Britt doesn't like, Britt gets defensive and she gets combative. We saw it with Angela. We saw her get ready to do it with Portia. And I guess her and Drew had something. I don't really know too much about that. But the point is, she's had little things here and there with people where she gets defensive. And as a result of that, they don't know how to take her. You can't say you got pistols and whips and then wonder why the ladies aren't welcoming you into their home. Like you kind of brought yourself here, right? So Faye says, I told her that she was basically moving weird. I told her she kind of needed to chill out, that, we like to have fun and it's about the fantasy. I think that just further proves that Phaedra is not here to really give us anything of substance. Phaedra is here to get a check and make people who are entertained by her laugh, right? So the fantasy and the fun, I said that might be why next thing we're hearing about Britt and her inverted nipples. And then Portia brings up Cynthia's inverted clitoris that has a hood. I'm I'm only mentioning this because how do you know what Cynthia's genitalia looks like? You are continuing to make this bolo thing seem like it was made way more than what it was. And I just like, you know a lot about your friends, girl. That's all I'm going to say. So we go from that to Britt dropping by Kelly's room. Oh, by the way, Cynthia was embarrassed by it. Like she literally covered up her head when Portia said it. Britt drops by Kelly's room. Kelly is overwhelmed because she's waiting on a call from her attorney. She's telling her she's stressed, she's overwhelmed, she's having anxiety from this divorce stuff. But Britt didn't come over there to talk about that. Britt came over there to talk about something else. Britt is the type of person that expects everyone to overextend themselves to her when she's going through something. But I noticed that she doesn't really support her friend in the moment where she is going through things. We saw how Kelly got her IV drip and flowers and came here for this and threw her a brunch and did all these other things to support her friend. And here, Kelly is sitting here going through it, and you don't even lean over to hug the girl as she's telling you that she's really, really stressed out because she's waiting on this call for her attorney for this upcoming case where she's trying to get divorced. It just shows she's selfish. So the subject of the previous night comes up. Britt says last night was mixed emotions for her, not just because of what happened with her and Shamia, but because she felt like a different type of energy coming from Kelly, right? Britt calls it aggressive. She feels like Kelly didn't have her back when it came to Shamia and the others. She talked to Shamia and asked what was a good amount to donate, but around these group of people, Shamia's acting like she's cheap. Now, she doesn't say Shamia. She's acting like you're acting like I'm cheap. I wasn't quite sure who she was talking about. I'm thinking Shamia. Put it down below if you agree, or if it's someone else, let me know who it is. So to me, I do have to side with Britt on the fact like, okay, if she asked you what to donate, then you should have told her what to donate. You shouldn't have presented it at the table the way you did. If Britt comes to you and says, "What's a good amount?" then just say, "Oh, you want to do 250? I don't really think that's enough, girl. Can you send more? Or what do you think about this?" Give her an amount. Simply tell her, because to sit there and talk about her like you told her, I get it. We don't like Britt. I get it. Britt does a lot of things to flex and things of that nature, to act like she has all this money. But when it comes from to a donation, you want it to be from the heart. And maybe that 250 for her was from the heart, and the 1,000 she would have had a problem with. I don't know. Either way, we didn't even really get to see like the amount of donations and what was all sent. We didn't even get to see, where they were shipped to and how they were distributed. I didn't expect them to show us the homes, but I just thought we were going to get a little bit more of that. So Kelly points out that Shamia just wanted Britt to show up more, like especially with you bragging about, at your event, how you took your team to Miami and you gifted all of them with the different plastic surgeries that they wanted to do. So with you saying that you did that, she probably thought, oh, okay, well, if she can gift that to those people, then of course I'm thinking she's going to show up more for this relief effort. So she just wants Britt to really be in her purpose. Well, Britt ain't trying to hear that, right? Britt says in her mind it's not that complicated. She feels like Kelly uses her team and hides behind her team. She uses her glam as security and a shield. And I said, wait a second, what are we talking about here? Did the footage get cut? Because how do we go from I want you to be living in your purpose to you using people as a shield, right? Kelly is in confessional life. She's talking about my people and saying how I have too many people surrounding me. Meanwhile, she wants those people. She wants my entourage. This is when Britt tells us that Kelly's real issue with her is that Kelly is mad at her because she does not want her to use the glam team anymore. But as usual, Britt is leaving out some key things. Kelly did not like that Britt took her glam team and had a meeting with them at her house without informing Kelly. I wouldn't either. because Nashville was alone. It was a girl. I feel sorry for you, girl. I feel sorry for you, girl. I'm so sorry that, Kenya did that to you, that your X-rated stuff got aired out on the show, even though it's a blur and things of that nature, that we have an illusion of you performing, some type of fellatio or something like that, even though we never saw it. I'm sorry that that happened to you, even though now that you're saying it's not you. I'm sorry that that happened to you. So 2 months ago at Nashville, she allowed you to utilize your people for that trip. Why was it assumed that you can use them from here on out? Did you pay for them? I know Kelly is generous, but Kelly is also going through a divorce, and now she's also being sued from the people that she has one of her restaurants at. So I would think that you would realize that at some point, like Kelly would expect to get her team back, or that you would get your own. So for whatever reason, Britt thought that she giving her that meant from there on out, whereas I just thought it was for Nashville. So with that, I understand why Kelly would be upset, but this also proves that more than likely Kelly was being aggressive because she is upset about what Britt pulled. But my question is, Kelly, why is it that you're mentioning this to us in confession? Why aren't we hearing about this face to face when the two of you were sitting right across from each other in that room? I would understand why you may not be talking to her as much and things of that nature, because you feel like she did something slick and you're trying to figure her out, right? Which explains why Kelly told the team they can't work with her anymore, because you're not going to go behind my back. Get your own glam squad. Don't pull a Portia and Drew where you're sharing the same makeup artist. And as a result of that, you all have to show up for something when it comes to filming or an event, and one of your faces aren't getting done because you're sharing a person. It just doesn't make sense. So Britt tells Kelly, like, look, from here on out, if you have an issue with me, what I expect, you to do as my friend is for you to tell me one-on-one. I gotta admit, she's right in that she should, if they're friends, tell her one-on-one. Don't call her out in front of the group, basically. So we get to the pool party, right? The ladies meet up at the pool for this party. Portia is on the grill. Kelly and Shamia show up in the same print. Angela's like, twin, where have you been? Like, y'all are twins in right now. Britt is gonna be mad because Britt and Kelly are supposed to dress alike, not those two. I laughed when Angela was talking in confessional about that. So Randall, the minister of tourism, arrives. I thought if he's gonna arrive, like maybe we're gonna get a tour, but that's not what happened. He arrives to greet them. As he's arriving to greet them, Britt comes into. They are thirsty, all the women as usual, over the man, even to the point where Portia at one point is like, let me get my phone out and film him walking away so I can send it to my mama. Like, y'all do realize that this is a little like low key, I don't know, assault like. We can't sit here and be mad at men when they make these comments and they whistle and they hem and ha and they try to touch and do all those things and then do those same things. I'm not trying to be a prude. I'm just saying it was a bit much. So Faye can't wait to hug him. And as she hugs him, she lets him know that he smells good. They do a shot and he lets them know that they're going to enjoy Jab Jab later on. So Jab Jab is a celebration of them getting away from their oppressors. It is derived from the French word diable. I hope I'm saying it right, meaning devil. Participants in Jab Jab or Juve cover themselves in black oil, tar, or paint, adapting a fearsome appearance that represents both the island history of resistance and the celebration of freedom. This character embodies defiance, commemorating the rebellious spirit of enslaved Africans who used the jab jab as a form of mockery against their colonial oppressors. So the people have reversed what at one point was oppressive and made it into something celebratory. So Kelly is about to step away because she missed her attorney's call. It's been 2 weeks and her soon-to-be ex-husband's attorney has not responded. So Drew's like, you know what, girl, I can relate to that because Ralph at this point is on his 3rd lawyer. We find out that Kelly's husband is on his 6th. Y'all. as they're talking about this, I can't help but think about all the things that has come out about Ralph and Drew, and the stuff that Ralph has recently put out on his stuff regarding her, where he's revealed text messages. It takes a certain type of person to air your text messages out. And I was trying to look for the other post. I can't see it. And this is kind of a cut off version. So okay, no, never mind. I can read it. So let me go ahead and add it to the stage. All righty. All right, y'all. So we got this thing here, right? You can see it, right? Okay. I just want to make sure you can see it. I'm acting like y'all answer me. Okay. So Ralph put out, I think he originally posted this on Twitter. It's crazy how I'm called a serial cheater with no receipts when the affair that ended our marriage is denied, like explicit details haven't been out there for years. Keep crying for the cameras and telling your fake truth, but don't confuse acting with innocence. Here's the thing. This is the same man who said that he's trying to protect her. I believe that at some point, Ty and Drew has something going on. Drew has chosen to lie about it for whatever reason, but this is not protection. This is not protection. Ty, how did he even get copies of this? I think, is this WhatsApp? I think this is WhatsApp. How did he get access to her WhatsApp? That's me, baby. Oh, thank you. I love and miss you so much. I can't wait to have you +3. Not sure what that is. I believe that Ty is the green. Not Ty. Drew is the green. Oh my God. At first I was like, wait, +3. But I get it. And baby, I love you so much. I can't wait either. Are you ready? Baby, I love you so much. That is definitely giving we're more than friends. My other question though is there's no dates on this. So when was this? So then we got I'm nervous, laugh out loud at +4. I'm watching your show. My brother said, I did say I want a family. This is very much so giving. It's more to this. So Drew's like, be careful what you ask for. Oh Lord, what episode are you on? And Ty says, laugh out loud, right? I'm on episode 7. So then we got baby. I was knocked out. I just woke up thinking about you. I miss you so much. Thank you for my flowers, crazy. Let's talk about the screenshot because, yeah, that's strange. So she's like, okay, I can't sleep. I've been sleeping off and on. And there's this image of Drew on the phone. I don't know what they got going on over here, what the screenshot is, whatever. Okay. So Ty then sent, her reply. This was when Ty cut off all her hair. So, this has been some time because Ty's hair done grew back. So, we get it looks so good and healthy. Ty's like, why details on your truck? Or, any details on your truck? Thank you, baby. I'm trying to decide if I want to cut it or let it grow. I don't like not being able to speak to you on the phone. I'm thinking about changing my number. I guess Ty didn't cut her hair here. Maybe she just had a really tight finger coil. I don't know, but changing your number for what? Are you trying to hide from Ralph that is you? Then, of course, is a picture Drew knocked out. They spent a lot of time together. They was enjoying each other. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like they won't enjoying each other. They was enjoying each other. And it is what it is. But I'm showing you this because my thing is, this is supposed to be a man that wants to protect this woman. That's what he said. That's what he said on the show. And here he is showing all the ways that he does not protect her. I don't see it for people like Ralph. And I'm listening to Drew talk and I'm listening to the things that she's saying. And Drew finds out that she and Kelly have the same anniversary date with their husbands. And I just am listening to this conversation And I expect for Drew to look back at all of this and see that this man has not changed. And with him on Memorial Day releasing that video of y'all getting along in the kitchen as you cooked, to now you releasing this information of these text messages, it shows that Ralph is continuing to play games. And Drew isn't innocent, but Drew, you got to get out in front of this stuff and spray your own tea so that he can't keep spraying you, right? So Drew says that, this 10 year this year would have been 10 years for them for their anniversary, and she wanted to have a renewal. Everything happens for a reason. Kelly said that typically on her anniversary she just ends up sitting and crying because it's hard on her. I cannot begin to imagine what a divorce feels like, right? I remember how hard it was when I separated from my ex. And I remember how sad I was and how I wasn't eating and things of that nature. And I felt like like a part of me was gone. And I felt like I failed because I wanted my son to have a two-parent household and I wanted things to work. But sometimes the best thing that you could do is leave the situation. And I think that because Kelly is so in the thick of it, that because Kelly is still, after, these years from what we're hearing here, going back and forth with this man, that it's really that much harder on her because she's not given a chance to really grieve the loss of what she thought would be and try to process everything, because she keeps getting pulled back into the drain that is a situation with her ex. So Drew says it's rough because you don't just fall out of love with the person. She still loves Ralph. It's okay for you to love Ralph, but you need to stop allowing Ralph to play you. I read those text messages because that's an example of how he plays you, girl. They both worked out with their husbands. Kelly leaves to go make her call. Portia then surprises Shamia with the whole photo shoot with the bikini that she had. I'm hoping that was a new bikini. We can be friends. I'm not sharing that with you. But anyways, she puts on the bikini, puts on the hat. Shamia's body looks great. I don't know what Shamia is talking about. Shamia did appreciate it. It did lift her spirits. So Angela, while this is going on, asks Britt if she's okay. Britt tells her, I spoke to Kelly and I want her to do more. Like, she wants me to show up for the group, but I just want her to show up for me. It's always about Britt. And I do not think that Britt is that great of a friend. I feel like Britt does not know how to handle people who aren't kissing her tail. So we see Kelly getting her makeup done while speaking to her attorney. Apparently, her ex-husband is continuing to be petty, like he hasn't already been petty enough. Not only did he take the car that he gifted her, right? Because that's what we were told in previous episodes, but now he also had a plot of land for her, and he ended up selling that to a friend. Kelly doesn't know where the proof that that was hers is, so I'm guessing she doesn't have the deed or the proof of sale or anything like that it was meant for her. So it's just making things harder. This is supposed to be like her reset and her rest, but she still has to deal with the things that are waiting back home for her, like her ex. And the attorney lets her know he's going to work it out and handle it. So the ladies are getting ready to finally join the Jab Jab festivities. Shamia's luggage has finally arrived. I guess, the day before. Yeah, let's arrive. And she cannot wait to put on her Chanel rain boots. She walks out with her Chanel rain boots. And the ladies are like, look, you are about to be around a whole bunch of oil and stuff like that. We know you got money, right? But you're going to ruin those boots. Put on something else. I have never been to a Jab Jab, but I have been to, well, I don't know. Okay, I have been to a Jab Jab, but it wasn't called that. I've been to Juve, I've been to Carnival, I've seen the overnight festivities. I remember, I'll never forget it. There was a person that was assaulted. I think I was in middle school, by police officers. He was an immigrant, and they assaulted him so horribly with a plunger. without going into too much detail. And I remember that year that before it started, like the police were hiding because it was the night before Juve, and people were walking down the street with powder and stuff, tossing it on the police. Like people were upset. They were tired of the mistreatment. And I remember standing out on my grandmother's fire escape and looking down at the crowd of people who assembled. And it's nothing like the energy that's in the air when you have people together for a cause. So seeing that and then knowing later on, because my grandmother and them, they used to make costumes for Juve and all that other stuff. And the park, like we would go down to the parkway. I've been on the float before. Like we didn't have some times, right? With that being said, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this and I'm thinking about like all the different things. And I had moments where I was like feeling a lot of nostalgia and moments where I was like, man, like this is just beautiful, because even in New York, it's not the way it used to be. Like it's not as big as it used to be. The last time I went, there was a little bit of, violence, and it was never that before. So I don't know what it's like now because I haven't been in since before the pandemic, but it used to be a great time, there. And I'm listening to the ladies and you're feeling their excitement, and it very much so is giving that. So as they are on their way, Kelly lets us know that they start at 5 a.m. and they're joining at night. Everyone has on their black and their fishnets. Kelly's costume has this pointy thing. Kelly always goes too far with these outfits, but whatever. She got a little pointy thing on her costume. So they get there and we see fire, we see flags, we see the black oil, we see whining, like whining, whining, whining. Here is twerk, 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 twerk. There is wine, wine. Like if you know a wine, you know a wine, you know a good wine. Yeah. Anyway, so they're whining, they're having a good time. The ladies are enjoying the oil, putting it on their bodies, and the marching and the dancing, and they're having like it's giving the vibes, right? So Cynthia is loving to look at the men, but they're not allowed to touch her because her man is waiting, back for her at Lake Bailey. Oh, excuse me. Phaedra, on the other hand, is having a ball. She's enjoying herself, right? They're vibing, they're dancing, doing splits, twerking, whining, taking shots. I think Phaedra says that she felt like she had such a good time, she might have got pregnant by the man. It was just a whole bunch of whining and jabbering and daggering, and yeah. Anyway, so the next morning, we get the shots of where they're staying. There's a little bit of oil on the wall and the bed sheets and the pillow, and we see clothes and boots just outside and things of that nature. The ladies pack, they debrief around the pool. They talk about how long it took them to get the oil off of them. And Britt lets us know that she had no problem helping Phaedra. She got in there and she was wiping her back and scrubbing her back, and she even spread them cheeks at one point to get that oil out. Britt says if they still have oil, then they don't know how to shower. And that's when Shamia arrives at the table, and she didn't get all her oil, so she don't know how to shower. Kelly says, like, things are, kind of hard for her. When she got off the phone with her attorney, her crystal broke in half, and she was upset about it, but she Googled it, and it symbolizes the end of a relationship. So now she wants to throw that crystal in the ocean to release everything. The ladies support her while she does it. Kelly is happy that the ladies are able to relax, rest, and renew. And they're all hoping that they bring this energy back to Atlanta. But we already know that's not going to happen because we see previews that there's going to be a whole bunch of drama. And I guess they're going to end it with a bang. Overall, this episode was good. Go ahead and do me a favor. Hit the like button, comment, let me know what you thought. If there's something that you want to discuss that I didn't mention, feel free to put it down below. Eventually, my Wi-Fi signal went away, so I'm hoping this acted right. Until next time.